For today's video, let's have some factoring challenge. So how far can you reach? So let's have the level 1, which is the common factor, all the way down to level 10. So the question here is how far can you reach? So let's start with level 1, the common factor. The question, 10x squared plus 15x. Pause this video right now because I will show you the solution in 3, 2, 1. Okay, here's the solution. First, notice the 10 is 5 times 2 and 15 is 5 times 3. So the common factor of 10x squared plus 15x simply equal to 5x. Now 10x squared divided by 5x, this will give us 2x. Then you should add, and then 15x divided by 5x, or the common factor, this will give us 3. And there you have it. The factored form of 10x squared plus 15x simply equal to 5x multiplied by 2x plus 3. And we're done. Alright, so let's have level number 2. We have a quadratic equation wherein a is equal to 1, or the coefficient of x squared is 1. Pause the video right now because I will show you the solution in 3, 2, 1. Alright. Now, to factor this quadratic equation, my technique is to think of two numbers that when we multiply, we get negative 18, and when we add those two numbers, we get positive 3. And we have here negative 3 times 6, we have negative 18, and negative 3 plus 6 is positive 3. Therefore, we can factor this out nicely as x. Let's get this negative 3, the first number, and then multiply by x. We have here plus 6, which is the second number. Therefore, the factored form of x squared plus 3x minus 18 simply equal to x minus 3 multiplied by x plus 6. Done. Alright, so let's have level number 3. We're in quadratic equation, wherein the coefficient of x squared is any real number. So 5x squared plus 13x minus 6. Pause this video right now because I will show you the solution in 3, 2, 1. So, to answer this kind of question, first, let's multiply the coefficient of x squared and the constant term, which is 5 times negative 6, which is negative 30. Now, we think of two numbers that when we multiply, we get negative 30, and when we add, we have the middle term, positive 13. So, the two numbers are 15 times negative 2, negative 30, and 15 plus negative 2 is positive 13. So we can break this positive 13x as follows. We have 15x minus 2x, or 15 and then negative 2. Then copy the variable x. Now we can rewrite this as 15x squared plus 15x minus 2x minus 6. Now, in these two terms, we can get the common factor of 5x. So if we factor out 5x, we get x plus 3. Now, in these two terms, we have a common factor of negative 2. And if we factor negative 2, we have negative 2 multiplied by x plus 3. Now, at this point, we have a common factor of x plus 3. So, we can factor out x plus 3. So, we get x plus 3 multiplied by the remaining term, 5x minus 2. And there you have it. The factored form of 5x squared plus 13x minus 6 simply equal to x plus 3 multiplied by 5x minus 2. And we are done. Now let's have level number 4. We have 4x squared minus 16x squared y plus 15y squared. Pause this video right now because I will show you the solution in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so to answer this kind of question is we need to consider this as a quadratic equation wherein the coefficient of x squared is any real number. So to factor this out, let's multiply this 4 and 15. This will give us 60. Now we think of two numbers that we multiply, we get 60, and when we add, we get negative 16. And the two numbers are negative 6 and negative 10. Because negative 6 plus negative 10, this will give us negative 16. This is negative 16. Alright? This is negative 16. Now, we can break this negative 16x squared y with the following. We have negative 6x squared y minus 10x squared y. So we have negative 6 and negative 10, then copy the variable x squared y. Now, we can rewrite our expression as 4x raised to the fourth power minus 6x squared y minus 10x squared y plus 15y squared. Now, in these two terms, we have a common factor of 2x squared. So if we factor out 2x squared, we have 2x squared multiplied by 2x squared minus 3y. And on this part, we have a common factor of negative 5y. So if we factor out negative 5y, we have 2x squared minus 3y. And then, notice that we have a common factor also of 2x squared minus 3y. So if we factor this out, we have 2x squared minus 3y multiplied by 2x squared, the remaining term, 2x squared minus 5y. And there you have it. This is the factored form of 4x raised to the fourth power minus 16x squared y plus 15y squared. We are done. Alright, level number 5. Question. X raised to the fourth power y squared minus 3x cubed y squared minus 9x squared z to the fourth power plus 27x z raised to the fourth power. Pause this video right now because I will show you the solution in 3, 2, 1. So to answer this kind of question is first notice that we have a common factor of x in these four terms. So let's factor out as x. Now at this point, focus in these two terms because we have a common factor of x squared y squared. And in these last two terms, we have a common factor of negative 9z raised to the fourth power. And if we factor out x squared y squared in these two terms, we get x minus 3. And we factor out negative 9z raised to the fourth power, we also get x minus 3. Now, as you can see, we have a common factor of x minus 3. So again, factor out the common factor x minus 3. So we have x minus 3 multiplied by the remaining term x squared y squared minus 9z raised to the fourth power. Now at this point, let's focus on this result, x squared y squared and 9z raised to the fourth power. Because x squared y squared, we can rewrite this as x times y raised to the power of 2. And this 9, we know this is 3 squared. So we can rewrite this as 3z squared raised to the power of 2. Because we have here a square number minus another square number. So we can use the difference of two squares. So if we have a squared minus b squared, we can factor this out as a plus b multiplied by a minus b. So we can factor this out nicely as xy plus 3z raised to the second power multiplied by xy minus 3z raised to the second power. And there you have it. This is the factored form of x raised to the fourth power y squared minus 3x cubed y squared minus 9x squared z raised to the fourth power plus 27x z to the fourth power. And we are done. Alright, level number 6. Here's the question. X raised to the power of 6 minus 7x cubed minus 8. Again, pause this video right now and see if you can answer this question. Because here's the solution in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so to answer this kind of question, let t be equal to x cubed. Because if we do that, our expression becomes t squared minus 7t minus 8. And this is very simple because this is quadratic equation in terms of t. Now, we can use our technique to factor this quadratic equation, and we can factor this out nicely as t plus 1 multiplied by t minus 8. Now, we don't want t because the equation is in terms of x. So let's replace all t with x cubed. So I have x cubed plus 1 multiplied by x cubed minus 8. Alright, let's focus on this result. We are not done because 1 is 1 cube and 8 is 2 cube. Alright, so we have sum of 2 cubes and difference of 2 cubes. And to factor this out nicely, we will use this identity. If we have a cubed plus b cubed, we can factor this out as a plus b multiplied by a squared minus ab plus b squared. And a cubed minus b cubed, we can factor this out nicely as a minus b multiplied by a squared plus ab plus b squared. Alright, so we can factor this out nicely. The first factor we can factor this out as x plus 1 multiplied by x squared minus x plus 1. This is the factored form of x cubed plus 1 cubed. Now, how about x cubed minus 8 or x cubed minus 2 raised to the third power? This is just x minus 2 multiplied by x plus 2 times x plus 2 squared, or simply equal to 4. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the factored form of x raised to the 6th power minus x cubed minus 8. And we're done. Now, how about level number 7? Here's the question. 3x raised to the 5th power plus x raised to the 4th power minus 4x cubed minus 24x squared minus 8x plus 32. Again, pause this video right now because I will show you the solution in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so to answer this kind of question, first, let's group this expression into two groups like this. Because in the first group, we have a common factor of x cubed. And on the second group, we have a common factor of negative 8. Now, if we factor out x cubed and negative 8, we get something like 3x squared plus x minus 4 in this expression. And if we factor out negative 8 in these three terms, we get 3x squared plus x minus 4. We have the same factor, so we can factor out this common factor. And if we do that, we get 3x squared plus x minus 4 multiplied by x cubed minus 8. This is very familiar because we factor this out in the level number 6. Alright, so let's factor 3x squared plus x minus 4. Now, we know x cubed minus 8, we can factor this out nicely using this identity, a cubed minus b cubed. Now, how about 3x squared plus x minus 4? So, this is a quadratic equation wherein the coefficient of x squared is not 1. So, let's multiply 3 times negative 4, we have negative 12. And think of two numbers that when we multiply, we have negative 12. And when we add, we have positive 1. So, here's the two numbers. Negative 3 times 4, we have negative 12. And negative 3 plus 4, we have positive 1. Because here we have positive 1. So we can break this x as negative 3x plus 4x. Now, factor out 3x. So we have 3x multiplied by x minus 1. And factor out 4 in these two terms. We have 4 multiplied by x minus 1. Now, common factor is x minus 1. So common factor, we can factor this out nicely as x minus 1 multiplied by 3x plus 4. The remaining term, 3x plus 4. Now, let's focus on this result and let's use this identity. Now, since we factored already this expression on level 6, so let's put its factored form, x minus 2 multiplied by x squared plus 2x plus 4. And this is the factored form of this expression. And we are done. Now, how about level number 8? Here's the question. 3x raised to the 4th power minus 2x cubed minus 23x squared minus 2x plus 24. Again, pause this video right now and see if you can answer this question or if you can factor this expression. Because here's the solution in 3, 2, 1. So to answer this question, notice if we add those coefficients, we get an answer of 0. It follows that x minus 1 is a factor of this expression. But to show that x minus 1 is a factor of this expression, what we're going to do is to use the synthetic division. So to use the synthetic division, we need a small box, half box, and we need the coefficients of this expression. Now, since we know x minus 1 is a factor, so 1, this 1 will give us a remainder of 0. So let's see, or let's try 1. Now bring down 3. 3 times 1 is 3, negative 2 plus 3 is 1, 1 times 1 is 1, negative 23 plus 1 is negative 22, negative 22 times 1 is negative 22, plus negative 2 is negative 24, negative 24 times 1 is negative 24, and this is 0. So technically speaking, x minus 1 is a factor of this expression. Alright. Now at this point, we will continue this process, and this is now called the continuous synthetic division. Now, let's think of a factor of negative 24, and there's a lot of factor, and in this video, I will show you the answer already. So let's use negative 2. Alright. So bring down 3. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. 1 plus negative 6 is negative 5. Negative 5 times negative 2 is 10. Negative 22 plus 10 is negative 12. Negative 12 times negative 2 is 24. Negative 24 plus 24, this is 0. It follows that x plus 2 is a factor of this expression. Now, again, let's use continuous synthetic division. Now, let's think of a number or a factor of negative 12 that will make this 0. And we know this is just positive 3. So let's use positive 3. Bring down 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Negative 5 plus 9 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Negative 12 plus 12 is 0. It follows that x minus 3 is a factor of this expression. And we have here 1, 2, 3 factors. Since the expression, the highest power is 4, so we need 4 factors. So where is the other factor? The other factor is here. We have 3x plus 4. Now, we have 4 factors. Therefore, the factored form of this expression simply equal to x minus 1 multiplied by x plus 2 multiplied by x minus 3 multiplied by 3x plus 4. And we are done in this level. So level 8 is done. Let's have the level number 9. Here's the question. We have 8x cubed plus 36x squared plus 54x plus 27 minus 64y cubed. Now pause this video right now and see if you can answer this question. Because I will show you the solution in 3, 2, 1. Alright, now to answer this question, let's separate this term to negative 64y cubed. Because here's the reason. This 64, we know this is 4 raised to the power of 3. And 4 raised to the power of 3 times y raised to the power of 3, we can rewrite this as 4y raised to the power of 3. So this tells us that this term is a number raised to the power of 3. Now this is a hint for us, because if this is a number raised to the power of 3, this factor, maybe this factor, is also some binomial raised to the power of 3. Alright, so let's observe something. This 8x cubed, we can rewrite this as 2x raised to the power of 3. And this 27, we know this is 3 cubed. Now, this reminds me of the expansion of a plus b raised to the power of 3. Because if we expand this, we have a cubed plus 3a squared b plus 3ab squared plus b cubed. We have a cubed, or cube of the first term, and on the last, we have the cube on the last term. Now, notice, if the first term is 2x and the second term is 3, we can rewrite this 36 as 3 times 2x squared times 3, which is 2x is the first term and 3 is the second term. Also, 54, we can rewrite this as 3 times 2x, the first term, times 3 squared, which is the second term. Therefore, 8x cubed plus 36x squared plus 54x plus 27, we can factor this out nicely as 2x plus 3 raised to the power of 3. Now, at this point, we have here a cube minus another cube. So this is the difference of 2 cubed. And we know we can factor this out nicely using this identity. If we have a cubed minus b cubed, we have a minus b multiplied by a squared plus ab plus b squared. So we have the first term minus the second term. So we have 2x plus 3 minus 4y. Now we have the square of the first term. We have 2x plus 3. The product of the first and the second term, 2x plus 3 times 4y. And the square of the last term, which is 4y. Now, simplifying this expression, we have 2x plus 3 raised to the power of 2. We have 4x squared plus 12x plus 9. And then 2x plus 3 times 4y is 8xy plus 12y, and 4y raised to the power of 2, we have 16y squared. Now, rearrange some terms a little bit. Let's put those constant on the last part, or the last position, and there you have it. This is the factored form of this expression, and we are done for level 9. And how about the last level, level number 10? Here's the question. X raised to the fourth power plus 4x squared plus 16. Again, pause this video right now and see if you can answer this question, because I will show you the solution in 3, 2, 1. So here's the solution. If this expression is 8x squared, the middle part, the middle term is 8x squared. This is very simple because we can factor this out nicely. X raised to the fourth power plus 8x squared plus 16. This is a perfect square trinomial, so we can factor this out as x squared plus 4 raised to the power of 2. But here, we have 4x squared, not 8x squared. But we can make this 8x squared. So what we're going to do is to subtract and to add something. And what is this something? So we need to add 4x squared and minus 4x squared. This is just 0 for sure. Alright? But if we add 4x squared to 4x squared, we have here 8x squared. And we have here the remaining 4x squared. If we simplify this, this is the same thing as x raised to the fourth power plus 4x squared plus 16. But we know x raised to the fourth power plus 8x squared plus 16, we can factor this out as x squared plus 4 raised to the power of 2. Now, let's focus on this expression. Now, 4x squared, we can rewrite this because we know 4 is 2 squared, so we can rewrite this as 2x raised to the power of 2. Now, we have here the difference of 2 squares, and we can factor this out nicely as a minus b multiplied by a plus b. Alright, so we can factor this out. We have minus and plus. Now, we have the first term, x squared plus 4. Now, we have the last term, 2x. Now, let's rearrange some terms a little bit. Let's put this constant 4 in the last part. And there you have it. This is the factored form of x raised to the fourth power plus 4x squared plus 16. And we're done for level number 10. And that's the end of our factoring challenge. Hope you like it and see you on our next video.